a new chapter in science, and this chapter is chapter 2. And in science, Mrs. Murphy does skip around. I don't go in order. The reason why I don't go in order is because whatever we're learning in reading, for example, this week in reading, we're talking about animals and how they adapt to survive. Then I find the science to match it. So I want it to be the same. So that we're learning about it all areas at school. Okay? So we're going to learn what has a backbone, and this is just a little song. Mrs. Murphy doesn't sing, but it says there are animals with backbones, like mammals, yes, mammals, dogs and cats, skunks and chipmunks, all have backbones. So today in our lesson, we are going to learn what it means to have a backbone. So everybody right now, find your backbone.
Found it.
Okay, good.
Is it like a spine?
So, it is your spine.
I knew it.
Now, we are going to learn that people can fit, I know we're not animals, but we can fit in a category of animals because we meet some different criteria. Now, today when Kinsley was reading a book, she came across this word. What was that word, do you remember?
Mammals.
Mammals. It's not animals, but mammals. Now, we are a mammal, and we're going to learn on the next page why, okay? So, what are some animals with backbones? There are many different kinds of animals. One main group of animals has backbones. Bones help give animals shape. So, if you didn't have bones, what would happen to your body?
You would be like a jellyfish?
If you have an idea of what would happen to your body.
You would be like a jellyfish?
Eli.
You'd be like a jellyfish?
Yes, you'd be like a jellyfish. You'd be like a blob on the floor. Because you would not have shape. Your bones give you shape. Bones can help an animal move. So if we didn't have our bones in our arms, our feet, our legs, our fingers, our toes, we would not be able to move, okay? And bones can help protect some body parts of animals. So we have our bones, but we also have muscles, and the bones protect our muscles. And also, they protect our organs. Can you guys find your ribs? Okay.
I can see them.
Now,
I found them. They're a little.
your ribs here are bones. What are your ribs protecting in your body? Kinsley.
Your lungs and your heart.
Your lungs and your heart. Brooklyn?
I do have.
I can put my hand under my ribs.
Something right here. There's only skin right here, so there's no bones right here.
Right.
So you can just push in.
Right. So the bones help protect your organs. Wyatt.
Oh, it's so tight. There's a row of bones, and then it's like a gate that's
Closing in.
Protecting it, yes.
closing in on the organs.
You are right. Okay, we're going to go on the next page. And so you can see a deer is a mammal. It has a backbone. And a skunk also does too.
Skunk.
Yep, little baby one there. Now, animals with backbones. Mammals. So what we were just talking about are animals with backbones. A mammal usually has hair or fur on its body. So think, do you guys have hair or fur?
Yes,
Yeah, we have hair. We don't have fur, but we have hair. Young mammals get milk from their mothers. Now, I want you to think, when you were a baby, I know it's kind of icky to think about it, but you probably got milk from your mother. You might have had a bottle, but you did. Some of you had formula, some of you got milk from your mother. Now, dogs and cats are two types of mammals. The chipmunk in this picture is a mammal. I'll wait till we're being respectful. Okay? okay? So a chipmunk is a mammal. So you gotta think. The criteria for a mammal is it has to have hair and fur. It gets milk from their mother. And another one is that it usually breathes air. Do you guys breathe air?
Yeah.
Yes. So mammals have to breathe air. Okay? Now, Kinsley.
My brother has bones, but he can't move his legs.
But that's a little different. Because his bones don't necessarily work in his legs. But he still has them, right? Yeah. Now, birds are animals with backbones. Birds have feathers and wings, though. Birds hatch from eggs. Oh, and I forgot to say mammals come from their mother. So mammals are born from their mother, but birds are hatched from eggs. Now, fish are mammals with backbones. Fish live in water. Most fish are covered with scales. Fish have fins. And most fish hatch from eggs. Most, not all, but most.
I don't see.
Now, our next category is reptiles. And they are animals with backbones. Most reptiles have dry skin. Scales cover and protect a reptile's body. Some reptiles hatch from eggs. Some don't, though. Snakes and turtles are two kinds of reptiles. Okay, Corla?
Can animals break, like fish, can they break their bones?
They certainly can. They're just like us. They can break their bones just
I know
like us.
how.
Yep. Good question. Wyatt.
What is those bones? So those animals that roll up in a ball, are those reptiles? Snake?
What?
No. Those animals that roll up in a ball.
Do you know the name of the animals? Because I'm
Oh, those.
like a possum.
I think it's a possum. Are
Yeah.
those
Or
reptiles? Because they have armor.
They're mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are mean.
Okay, Addie.
Yeah, they're really mean. They could probably
Oh, Addie, just a second. Do you know that your friends are talking and not being very respectful right now? We'll wait for them to be quiet. Okay, now Addie, I think you're ready and they're ready.
Yeah, the only reptile in the world what the male only has a baby is a seahorse.
A seahorse.
Yeah, that's the only reptile.
That the male has the baby?
Yeah.
Okay, now our next one and our last category is amphibians. And amphibians are animals with backbones. Now this is the interesting part. They live part of their life in the water and part of their life on land. So like a frog lives part of its life in water and part in land. Most amphibians have smooth, wet skin, and amphibians hatch from eggs, and frogs and toads are amphibians. Eli.
If it's a frog that only goes on land and water, it's kind of 50-50.
It's a yeah, it does both, right?
100, 100.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna take these last three, and then we're gonna watch a video
100%.
that goes with this. Okay?
The
Brooklyn.
that's a toad. It's a fat frog.
Oh.
I know frogs. Babies come in eggs because, like, I saw one before, and it's mostly in really, really, like, muddy water, because they make a little nest. Like, the mom sets it down and it hatches.
No, this is science time, so you gotta be doing science class. Okay. Orla.
One time, when Brooklyn went to Xavier's house, Xavier's is our neighbor, and Brooklyn came to our house. We almost caught 20 toads, and me and Brooklyn were partnering up, and we were looking for toads together, and then we both caught 10, and then we
You were finding some amphibians? Okay. Kinsley, last one. Oh, Kinsley. We have some friends that aren't being very respectful at science today. And if you're blurting, I'm not going to call on you because that's not fair. Okay, Kinsley, you're my last one.
I have two things to ask. You butterflies have bones?
We're going to learn about insects tomorrow. So, do you think they're in any of these categories?
No.
No, they're not. Now, everybody right now, feel your spine again. So your spine goes up and down, your backbone.
Murphy.
Now, if your backbone goes up and down, like this is Mrs. Murphy's spine, there are little bones that are going across. And does anyone know what those bones that are going across are called? Oh, I didn't say to talk. Quiet.
Funny bones?
Nope, your funny bone is like your elbow. John? And some of you might know this if you ever have to go to the chiropractor. They're called vertebrae.
Hey.
And so, sometimes when you go to the chiropractor, it's because your vertebrae are not in, like they kind of shift and they're not in the right place. And that's why maybe your moms and dads, especially moms and dads, that's why sometimes they need to go to the chiropractor is that their back, the bones shift a little bit. Now these are called vertebrae. Now, if you have a backbone, you are called a vertebrate. Okay? So when they talk about animals that are vertebrate animals, that means that they have a backbone. Okay? We need to get started on this.
Today, we're going to look at vertebrate animals.
No, those are dolphins.
Oh,
What is that?
I need to remind you that we have our remote learners at home, and they want to hear this. So if you're talking while the video's playing, are they hearing it?
No.
All they're hearing is you guys talking. Okay, so we're gonna try this one more time. And Kinsley, yes, you did have one more thing. I'll grab it when we get back, okay? But your friends were kind of talking, weren't they?
Hello everyone, welcome to Happy Learning. Today, we're going to look at vertebrate animals. As you know, we can classify animals in various ways, depending on the characteristics we look at. Today, we're going to look at some animals by the internal structure of their bodies. According to this feature, we can classify them into vertebrate animals, which have an internal skeleton, that means bones, and invertebrate animals, like this worm, which has no backbone, in fact, no bones at all. All vertebrate animals have an internal skeleton made up of bones. Bones are very strong and give bodies their shape. They hold it nice and straight. The spine, the backbone, is made up of a series of articulated pieces of bone called the vertebrae, which allow the body to move in a certain way and be flexible. Vertebrate animals' bodies are divided into the head, the torso, and the limbs. Yes, the head, the body, and the arms and legs. Some vertebrates are aquatic, like these fish. Others are terrestrial, like this bear. And others fly, like this eagle. Vertebrates can move in many different ways. Walking, jumping, crawling, climbing, and when they have to, running. But sometimes it's not enough. There are also many vertebrate animals that move by flying, like birds and bats. For example, these eagles, which, unfortunately for the fox, are much faster than him. Vertebrates are classified into 5 groups. Fish, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and mammals, like Vertebrate animals can be classified into 5 groups. Fish, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and mammals. Vertebrates have internal skeletons made of bones. The body of this kind of animal is divided into head, torso, and limbs. They move in many ways: walking, jumping, falling, flying, climbing, and when they need to, running. So, see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe to Happy Learning.
Alright, so these are our vertebrate animals that have a backbone. And Kinsley, you wanted to share one more thing, and I totally forgot. You had 2 things. One more thing you wanted to share really quickly?
I'm thinking that they do, but do frogs have bones?
So, what group were the frogs in? Can anybody remember which group they're in?
Backbones.
They do have a backbone. So, are frogs birds, fish, reptiles, or amphibians?
Amphibians.
They are amphibians. Yep. Okay. So today,
I'm gonna try
today on our worksheet, it's purple. We haven't done this for a while.
Thank you.
No.
Okay. This is Yana. You 4 are the only 4 talking. Nobody else is. Lewis, we are not doing a number scroll now. And you're already on yellow or green. I'm almost tempted to put you on yellow. Okay, put your name at the top of this purple page. It is science, and science papers are going to be purple because it matches our hand and tray. Okay, science is the bottom along with social studies. So at the top, put your name on it. Everybody got one. Tyson passed them out. I had Tyson do it this time. On the top, we have our 4 groups, and we're actually missing one because how many groups are there? Oh, I'm sorry, Ingrid, you don't have one?
Nope.
Does anyone have 2 by chance?
Oh, the other one.
Nope.
The other one. What's the other purple person?
Thank you. I knew there was 2 somewhere.
Oh, I have 3. Look at this.
Well
Look at my
then,
finger.
is anyone else missing
My
one?
middle finger's purple. Is anybody else missing one paper?
Okay. All right. So we have our birds, our fish, our reptiles, amphibians. We're missing a group. Which group are we missing?
I know.
Aria? Birds are up there. Brooklyn?
No, I got it. I know what it is, but I can't say it.
Braylon? Mammals. They don't have mammals up here. I don't know why they don't, but they really should. They are missing mammals, which that's what we are. Okay? All right. Now, number 1 says, what category should we put animals with scales and dry skin? Is that birds, fish, reptiles, or amphibians? Libby, what do you think?
Reptiles.
Reptiles, you are right. So on number 1, you're going to write reptiles. All right, number 2, animals with feathers and wings are what? What do you think, Elias?
Birds.
Birds, you are right. Number 3, animals with smooth and wet skin. Riley?
Fish.
I don't think so. talking about the other day, like in Mrs. Murphy's name. Amphibian. So amphibian, yep. So amphibian, those are animals that have that smooth, wet, dry, smooth and wet skin.
B. It's a long word.
It is a long word.
And finally, I'm done.
Okay, so this last one then,
We all know.
animals with fins for swimming are everybody- Fish. Okay, and then if Mrs. Murphy asked you, animals that have hair or fur, they drink milk from their mother and they're born alive, what are those called?
Bear.